in board game Autobahn by Italian game designers Fabio Lapiano and Estero Mangole, players built autobahns, highways in the post-war Germany. The game consists of 3 rounds. In the first 2 rounds, this part of Germany will be closed, and we put these tokens here to remind us about it. So players will be able to build highways, autobahns, in this part of the city, of the country, and every round it finishes when players build certain amount of highways. 10, 12 and 14. Players take their player boards. They get these cards, starting cards with different colors that will be used to activate certain actions. Basically these 4 main actions is to build highway, improve it, do the delivery, and build gas stations on the highways. To the main board, we have another board with bureaucracy, with famous German bureaucracy, and players will, when they, for example, build the highway of a certain color, they add their people in this main departments of Autobahn construction. Then they will be able to promote them on a higher levels of bureaucracy, and basically the main source of points in this game are these places in the bureaucratic system of Autobahn construction. Here we also have Kickstarter additional criteria for scoring points. Players get their tasks, money, and bureaucrats. Also, they get these player boards randomly. This will determine which city, neighboring city of Germany, which goods they need. And in the beginning, we have this first highway connecting Hamburg with Kreilsheim, and here we see also the cities of production of these goods. In the beginning, every player can activate one of the delivery bonuses. If in the previous rounds players delivered certain goods in the cities, for example, to Amsterdam, washing machines. So in the beginning of the round, next rounds, you'll be able to activate one of this, and then you improve your card, taking one of these and exchanging to one from your hand. Then players will be able to do the main phase. They either play card in one of the columns, maximum to here, and you can improve it by advancing to this track. Or players can get their cards back from here, getting money for it. Or once per era, players will be able to claim funding. At any time during the turn, players can be able to activate one of these bonuses, which they get by delivering certain goods or building highways on the borders. And in the end of the rounds, players will be able to move their cars. I will explain it a bit later. And also, if you played all of your cards, then you can get all of your cards back, not wasting one turn for this, but you're not going to get money. And here we can learn what's happening after the end of the era, and at the end of the second era, we have this unification that will give us access to this part of the eastern part of the country, and also players will be able to deliver a new type of good, medicine. of advanced cards that player will be able to exchange on their basic cards, and at the end of the game the new cards, more powerful, will be added to this row. During the game, players will build these highways, and after you play a card of a color where your truck is standing, it moves 2 or 3 steps in the next areas, and as soon as you deliver goods, you get certain bonuses. Get bonuses here. Also, when your truck or other player's truck is moving through your gasoline station, service station, you get either certain bonuses or money if other players pass your service station. And if you build more service stations, then you get bigger bonus. Also, you unlock by putting these keys here, you unlock this criteria for scoring different bonuses. You promote your people first here to the lobby, and then, for example, if you promote your worker here, you get points for every worker here in these departments. Here, if you deliver to certain countries, to how many service stations you build for money at the end of the game, and also in this additional scoring board, here you get points for these tokens you accumulated during the game, or how many cards you improved. And after 3 eras, you calculate scores, and whoever gets more points wins the game. I'm in Grunewald forest right now, near Berlin, and this is the map of this forest. As we can see, it's the map of the forest, and across the forest there's a straight line, which is now Autobahn number 115, which called AVUS or AVUS. This used to be one of the first autobahns in the world. It was planned in the beginning of the 20th century, and before it was used as a racing track. I'm standing around here, and it was the end of this track. The cars were turning around here and going backwards, and it started to be used for cars as an Autobahn only in the 1940. This part of the Autobahn is now connecting Berlin and Magdeburg, and also Leipzig. Leipzig is somewhere here next to this Jena, and last half year this is the area that I spent most of the time commuting between Berlin, Dresden, where I collaborate and work on a transportation board game for Dresden Transport Museum, Leipzig over here, and Magdeburg. So I took this board game with me for many times, and actually it was bought in Essen last year. Essen is somewhere here next to Dortmund, Köln, Düsseldorf, somewhere here. So last autumn I traveled along this turquoise blue Autobahn, but mostly I travel on the trains, which is now a bit cheaper with the Deutschland ticket. But before I used Flixbuses, and used these Autobahns extensively. I want to show you another map, a quite interesting map. This map called Asphalt Protest, and this is basically the map of Autobahn network of Germany, but from a little bit another perspective, from perspective of the protests against building of Autobahns. So I'm here next to these protesting people here on the next to the Wannsee and Grunewald forest, and we see this road goes to Magdeburg and Halle, Leipzig. In Halle I was actually shooting the playthrough of this game, and I was explaining the rules yesterday, and now I already traveled along this Autobahn, but actually on the train here to Berlin, and today I'm continue filming this review. So if probably 100 years ago cars and autobahns were considered by the people as something progressive and cool, nowadays most of the people, at least my age and my group of the people, are actually protesting against autobahns. You see, we have this traffic jam, angry people, drivers, and here we have people protesting against it, happy cyclists. So what I want to say, the theme of this game is quite retro and a bit old school and a bit controversial, but still very, very interesting. When I was explaining the rules, I forgot a few details, and also I want to show you components from different modules. Let's pretend we're using this card in our turn. This is the improved card, and as you see, it's a double. As we see, it's a double colored card from also Kickstart expansion. This can be used as both red and green. So let's pretend we're using it to improve the highway, and we're improving this highway, paying 16, I believe, yes, third era, it will cost 16, and after that we can also, as we see on this improved card, sometimes it has some different additional actions, so we can get our car track and, for example, put the medicine here. In the third era, these tracks will go 3 steps, but if it's the first improved highway this track is going, then it will add another additional 4th movement, and we go 1, 2, 3, 4, for example, let's say. Also, we shouldn't forget that when we improve connections or build new connections, sometimes we need to check the value of the city, and in this case it's supposed to be not 4 but already 6, which creates traffic. And here we have from our small second module these beautiful cars that we add to all the connections, links from this city, which will kind of create the traffic, and obviously your trucks will get stuck in this traffic. And also, as soon as we play these cards, we can kind of kickstart the chain of different actions. And also, as soon as your car is passing this your service station, you get certain bonuses. So in this game, in your turn, you can create long chains of actions, and I believe some people really love it. Also, we have here these improved service stations, a special board for them, also new type of good wine, these tokens for wine, and I believe there are also cards that you get in the beginning of the game, and then once per game you'll be able to use this card to deliver wine. Okay, it's a little bit loud here, as in next to any Autobahn. A few words about the game, my final thoughts. So first of all, there are
some things I really like about this game and some things I don't really like. So first, things I like. It's a beautiful production, especially the deluxe version is everything is top-notch, really beautiful. I really like the theme, even though I'm a researcher of public transport and I'm into public transport and cycling infrastructure, and nowadays cars considered as one of the main sources of pollution in the cities. So basically the expectations from the cars 100 years ago didn't follow where maybe people were thinking. So nowadays contemporary cities in Europe and States all over the world are trying to get rid of the cars, but still they are there. And this game is a bit nostalgic and retro, when people were very optimistic about building autobahns. And so this topic is interesting, even though not precisely what I'm interested in public transport. The game itself, I really like the theme and how it's everything implemented in this theme. I really like how, like in my favorite game, Brass, we built one network and then we can use it all together. And there are some parts from games I really like with the scoring conditions, like in Carnegie or Nippon, and some things reminded me of Kanban. But what I didn't like about this game is this really complicated upkeep and fiddling. So there's so many small details, so many things you could probably forget. And the package is so beautiful. You can show it to your friends, and probably you would love to play it with the family. But the game is quite complicated. So this is the game for hardcore players who don't mind about upkeeping and remembering about a lot of details in the game. It's quite complex, and I think I really wanted to love this game, but unfortunately I don't love it. I like, and some parts I really like, but unfortunately I can't fully recommend this game, even though it's a really beautiful production and interesting concept. There are interesting things implemented in this game, but unfortunately it's kind of too many of the things, and I wish this would be a bit like a simpler, clean design. Otherwise it feels like they wanted to add really a lot of things, and even the base game is complicated, but with all the modules it's getting even more complicated, with new goods to deliver, the traffic and everything. You could probably forget some of these details, so pay attention to this. If you like these heavy games with a lot of details and with the beautiful production, I can recommend this game. But for those who like more clean and elegant design, like probably Brass, then this game will be missed for you. So thank you, see you next time, beep beep, ciao.